Do you ever have the problem when you're pouring beer from tap where either you end up with too much head or not enough head? Often if you get too much head, you got to pour it off or let it sit for a while. If that's something that you have trouble with and you kind of want to know how to improve your pour, be sure to watch this video to the end. A couple things you want to make sure to do, some common mistakes. One is glassware not being clean. Another one is glassware being too cold. Those are two things that can screw up your pour. Also, obviously too warm as well. When you have a frosty mug, this is something I know a lot of people ask for, a frosted mug. There's a couple problems with frosted mugs. One of them is the ice buildup you have on there. And that's also, it's going to lock in some contaminants there. It's not going to let it really dry off. In that ice, you might have some of the cleaning solution that was used in it. Often the rinse cycle on a commercial dishwasher, that residue will stay unless it's dried. So you need to let it dry if you are going to be putting it in the fridge or freezer. And then you have to make sure that the fridge or freezer itself isn't contaminated anyway. So let's say, for example, you put it in a fridge that contains onions, your glass is going to smell like onion and then it's going to throw off your beer. So make sure you have a nice clean glass. Being that this is shot in 2020 during the COVID, we are using plastic. You can use any kind of glass that you deem appropriate, but at the moment we are using these plastic cups, so that's what I'm going to use. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference as far as the technique goes. To give a quick overview, first thing you want to do when you have the tap, so let's say this is the spout. You're going to take that and you're not going to put it straight down. You're going to tilt it at an angle and let it get started. I always just put it straight up to the tap. Remember, this is a clean glass. You're not going to refill a glass. You're not going to want to touch that. It's also against most health codes as far as like refilling glasses, so you never want to do that. But I bring it up to where it's either touching or almost touching here at a nice angle there and start the pour. Then as it fills up, once it almost reaches that spout, I then slowly tilt it, still pouring onto this edge. If you pour it into the middle, that will agitate the beer. Another thing you'll notice is a kind of a vortex of bubbles, and that is something that we're going to watch very closely when we do the pour here. All right, so let's get started. So again, the key here is going to be go into your tap, go at a 45-degree angle. You want to get relatively close to the spout itself to prevent the beer from slamming against the side of the glass, or if you have it straight, it's going to slam against the bottom and create bubbles in there. You'll also notice that the beer will start to make a circular kind of motion in the glass. Depending on the beer, that can be a little bit challenging. As you bring the glass straight, that the bubbles that are in the beer are going to come to the top and create more of a head than you might expect. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. Sapporo is a very easy one to pour, so it's why we're starting off with that one. So again, 45-degree angle, start your pour, and as it comes up towards the top, slowly bring it straight. And you can see the beer swirling around. That is going to add to your head there as well. As you can see there, my head is a little bit short. I'm a little bit too focused on making sure I'm in frame here to get that, but you want kind of about 2 fingers for your head on most beers. Now, if we kind of switch over and look at another beer, for example, Curin has much more carbonation and tends to foam up quite a bit. So let's give that one a try. So here we're on the Curin Tap. So again, we're starting with a 45-degree angle approximately, very close to the spout. We're going to go ahead and start the beer. You can see that foaming up a lot. You can let it pour off a little bit, and if you're watching this happen, you're seeing the beer spin. That is what you're going to want to watch out for. So you can see it's still spinning now, and that is adding to the head there. So that is something you're going to want to watch out for. So again, we're starting here, 45-degree angle. let that head come up almost to the top. And then if you're going to pour it out, you leave it at an angle. You're seeing that I'm only getting the foam flowing out of here. You're not getting so much of the actual liquid pouring out. So that is what you want to do. And then at this point right about now, imagine you're doing this as you're pouring. It's a little bit harder to talk and do this at the same time than you would imagine. But right about there, now if I straighten this out, you can see that is approximately 2 fingers. So we are still going to end up with a little more liquid than this, but this is a good time to go from an angled pour to a straight pour. So again, now that I've started the pour and stopped it, it's now going to agitate more as I go in because I'm going in a straight angle. But let's give this a try. Yeah, that's extremely agitated. You can see it's foaming up. You saw the little spirals and the little bubbles in there. And now I have almost too big of a head on there. So that is going to be the challenge. You definitely want to get it in one swoop if you can. And if you keep it at an angle, that brings it to the top and pours off just a little bit of the bubbles. There you go. Now you have your perfect pour. Hope that you found that video helpful. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you want more videos like this. Comment if you have any suggestions or if there's anything you want me to cover. Hopefully you'll be pouring better beers now, and thank you again for watching, and cheers.